Hey guys, it's your boy Dolio. We're back at it again with episode 3 of Bronze to Master. Now I have listened to your guys' feedback and a vast majority of you did request this to become an educational series, so that's what we'll do. I'll be letting you guys know the best heroes to rank up, what items are best for those heroes in certain situations, and how to play those heroes to their maximum efficiency. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's go! We have got into the next game and it is on Timber Mill. So I will be looking to play a healer today, and I will also go over what are the best healers in the current meta, what healers are best to rank up, and in specific situations, what healers are the best to play. Okay, so I count Maldumba, Genos, Ceres, and Ying as main healers, while Grok, Grover, and Pip would be considered situational healers. This is because main healers are very capable of keeping their team alive while they are the only healers on your team, while situational healers either require too many variables or are useful in situations other than healing. Out of the main healers, Maldumba is definitely the strongest of them all, but also the most difficult to play. Genos is very easy to play, but also can have a great effect on the game. Ceres, also very easy to play, but not as much of an effect as Genos, and Ying, she's relatively easy to play, but she doesn't have that much of an effect on the game. If you're wondering what healer to choose and you want to rank up, I would 100% recommend Genos, as he is extremely strong for the skill that he requires. As for Ceres and Maldumba, it depends on how strongly you value your mechanical skill. If you have extremely good aim, then Maldumba will be more effective than Ceres, but Ceres would be more effective than Maldumba if you do not have as strong mechanics. Overall, Ying is not that strong of a pick, but if all the other healers are banned or picked, then I would definitely choose her over the situational healers if you have to solo heal the team. When it comes to situational healers, Grok is relatively good at the moment for filling a DPS position. With the Totem CC Immunity card, he does provide extremely valuable point control that makes everyone on the point immune to CC and also gives significant amounts of healing until the enemy team gets cauterized. His damage can be extremely strong, especially if you do choose the damage legendary. And overall, he is definitely meta if you're versing certain heroes such as Barrack, so you can right click the turrets for confirmed damage. Grover is another healer that will be filling that damage position if you do choose to pick him. He is extremely good on maps like Timbermill and Splitstone Quarry, and also excessively good against snipers. You always want to run the 60% increased damage over range legendary, as that allows him to easily do 1200 damage shots to snipers across those maps. On those maps you don't even need to pick him into snipers, as he does do enough damage and has enough sustain to be outputting more DPS than most DPS. Pip is currently the worst healer out of all 7 healers in the game. He doesn't do enough damage to be able to contest DPS positions, he doesn't do enough healing to be able to contest healing positions, but if played well he can still have a significant impact on the game. He is extremely good if he does flank with another DPS, as his heal is able to keep them alive, plus his slow and decently high burst damage is able to finish off enemies rather quickly. Other than that, playing him as a healer is extremely bad. I would rather go with Grok or any of the main healers, and playing him as a pure passive damage is not very effective. We were lucky enough to grab Genos in the lobby, and we are now getting into game.
You bring war to my doorstep.
Out of the legendary cards, Celestial Touch is always the best if you are the only healer on your team. Otherwise, if you are with another main healer or a situational healer that did pick a healing legendary, then I would go with Luminary, as the 15% weapon damage to allies that have your heal is extremely strong. As far as decks go with Genos, all you really need is increasing the duration of Astral Mark and reducing the cooldown of it. Relativity is also very strong, as it does provide you with sustain, but the other cards are very flexible and you can do what you want with them. When it comes to items for all the main healers, you do want to go Chronos first item and potential second item, depending if your team needs Cauterize or Wreck Up. This is because Chronos reduces the cooldown of your healing, effectively giving you more healing output overall. This is an extremely useful tip, and I do recommend that all of you do practice this. At the start of the game, I do like to go through the friendlies and enemies' legendary cards and also check their items, just so there are no surprises as you're going into game. For example, this Grover could have Crippling Throw legendary, which would root you in place and kill you if you did not expect it as a flank. The gates do open. I do like to look where my team is going, just so I don't get any unusual surprises if they all go one direction and I am in the other direction. I do like to try and keep the heals on the tanks at all times, as they will be taking the majority of the damage, but it is also important to keep track of your DPS and make sure that you know where they are going. I don't want to aggressively push here, as they are all alive and could easily kill me if I am put out alone. It is also a healer's job to do sit on the point, so make sure you are doing that while your team is pushing up, as you do the least damage and your heals are usually effective from range. You will notice that they are pushing onto the point now as a group, but I am not being focused. I have to be wary of my threats, as I have said in previous games. For example, the Charlene and Grover can kill me relatively quickly. As I do see little pressure, I do go onto the point just to get a few % capture. And it does look like we will be winning this fight relatively easy.
The payload.
I am in a bit of an aggressive position here. As you can see, I'm a bit alone, but I did know the cart was coming this way. I do see the Ash go behind, so I do spam in PGS, enemies are behind us. This alerts my team to look back, and the Ash is coming. Torvald knew that she was coming behind, because I did spam that, so we are able to hopefully kill her very easily. Yes, we do. Just make sure you do keep track of who is getting hit on your team, for example the Buck up there, Infinito, and you can just keep them topped up. This does do a significant amount of damage if you can land those headshots. You don't need to be extremely close to it either. Targets with mobility like Ruckus, I do like to lift them up just to stall them, as they do think they can escape, but you in that plan. This game is rather easy as we are snowballing. Make sure you're putting constant pressure and staggering their team. As you can see, that Grover did get stuck alone and now still has 6 seconds to spawn far into the respawn process. When trying to outmaneuver someone who is shooting at you, especially like a Charlene who does shoot slow single projectiles, walking in a straight line and suddenly stopping is the best way to avoid getting hit. Looking at the items again, I do see that Grover is the only one with Cauterize who cannot spread it very easily, so I do Crow Kronos too to prioritize that healing and keep my team alive.
Point spawning in 15 seconds.
I will be potentially looking to go Cauterize next, as only one person on my team has it, or 2 people, sorry, and instead of Haven, as I'm not taking much damage whatsoever.
3, 2, 1.
Understanding where my team is going again, they are all rushing to the point, which is very good, as you can easily get 20 to 30% point control before the fight starts in PUG most of the time. Ruckus does ult behind me and I am lucky enough to get away. Only barely. Oh, so close. They do want to kill me very badly. But no need to be aggressive, just keep running back, let them waste time and cooldowns. My team is extremely split up here, which is very bad for me. So I do decide to just kill this Ashe. Their team is also very spread out. If they were all grouped on the point at this current moment, they would be winning this fight a lot harder. But we are very staggered as well. And there you get Ruckus. Yes, he does go down relatively easy to Bomb King. Grover is playing rather aggressive, not being on high ground. Charlene, I can hear up there. He does shoot me, nearly die. That Bomb King can take him out. Go for an ult, nice. Get the Ash, that's good. Strix just cleaning up. Just a ruckus here, but I do not want to risk dying. Charlene does finish me off, sadly.
Enemy double kill.
Being in the habit of looking behind you also is very good, as you are able to learn the information. For example, Bomb King was fighting Charlene behind there. If I did know that information sooner, I would have been able to avoid that death. But my team is good enough to clean up after my mistake. This is the problem with healers. They're extremely hard to carry on. Like, if you're playing a DPS, you do enough damage to be able to kill multiple people and make the fight, for example, like a 5v3. But if you're playing a healer, your damage usually isn't enough and your 1v1 potential isn't very strong. So you have to mainly focus on doing your job as good as possible, so hoping that your team is at least the same level as theirs, as if you're better than their healer, then you should win. Making sure all the tanks are staying alive. Garrus does go invisible. I would not have healed the Fernando then, as it would have been a waste of cooldown if he did have Cauterize on him. But I am shooting this ruckus here, hopefully gaining his attention, keeping pressure off my team. I do have ultimate again for a potential way to use it. Grover is up there, no way of really coming down behind our team. Slap him good, does not kill him sadly. He is rather low. Say they're behind us just so Bomb King does turn around and look. Yeah, lift him up. Easy kill. Now simply just keeping heals on the people taking damage, doing damage myself, and finishing this game, hopefully, to an easy 4-0. Charlene in ult, Grover does ult. And that is an easy game. So yeah, as healer, all you can really do is do your job, make sure everyone stays alive while also outputting as much pressure as possible. Very different to tanking damage, where you are able to solo kill the game purely by just killing people. But shooting extremely fast. Him down, nearly dies, but my heals do keep him up. Oh, we do get to Bronze 4. First road from Bronze to Master. First milestone is currently achieved. And we actually got quite a lot of damage there. That is interesting. We didn't top the damage meter, sadly, as Bomb King was able to do 900 damage a shot compared to our 100. But we did do a lot of damage, more healing than both their healers combined, and were able to do enough in that game to win the game. I would like to give a huge thank you to everyone that has watched this far into the video. As you can probably tell by now, I did try something rather different in this video, and I would love your feedback on how you think it went. This is my first video that was not live recorded during the gameplay, and I did try and cram in as much information as possible, as that was the feedback that I was getting. Would you rather me potentially go more in-depth on the certain hero that I'm playing rather than the role overall? Or would you maybe potentially want me to go back to live recording so you can potentially get reactions and stuff as to events that happen? I'm not entirely sure. All feedback will be read and appreciated. I hope you guys have a good one. See ya.